Why did you
Yeah.
connect with California?
So many of my close friends are here. I'd say since I left home, I've never really had the place that feels like that's my home. I had never been to London before I moved there. It was like, this is a new challenge.
The whole thing
Great.
seemed to me to just be a new challenge. It was crazy watching it kind of from a distance. And
One of my favorite memories, when we'd just been formed as a band, there was like a picture of us that had been taken from when we were at the show, like someone's mum had taken it. And we'd heard this picture was being put in the paper. The five of us left this little bungalow and walked down to the newsagents and got the paper and then came back passing around the paper. And we're like, let me see it again, let me see it again.
that first real piece of like recognition.
Yeah, because we were watching X Factor at my cousin's house the day that my audition went on air. And then we're driving home. I'm in the petrol station. This guy goes, were you just on X Factor? And I was like, yes, I was. I didn't really have a plan for like when I wanted to make a record. I knew I wanted to start writing. The best way I've ever heard songwriting described is like, it's kind of like surfing. You can practice getting up on the board and sometimes the wave just doesn't come. Or the wave comes, but you haven't practiced getting up on the board enough. Every now and again, you've practiced enough and the wave comes and that's when
you write that
the song. In the band, if I'd ever written stuff that was just with a friend or something, it was kind of like, well, I'm not gonna release any music, but what would it sound like if I was to write a song that was for me? I knew that like maybe one day I'd want to do it, but I wasn't like, I can't wait to get out of this thing so I can go make my own record.
Yeah.
You know?
So did the end of it creep up on you?
The last year of it, we all kind of knew we were going to stop at the end of that year. There was a part of me, all of the decisions I'd made as an adult had been made as a group. I felt like I need to make some decisions that just affect me.
Zayn already did that and he bounced out mid-tour.
I mean, it was hard. We were sad, obviously, that someone had left, but also sad that he was not enjoying it so much that he had to leave. I was kind of trying to redefine what success meant to me. And one of my friends kind of said, if you're happy doing what you're doing, then nobody can tell you you're not successful. And also, I guess, when I was in the band, the last 3 records we made on the road, and I had friends who were musicians who I knew would they would tour, and then they would take 6 months off to go and make
dive
a
into
record.
into a process.
And I used to be like, what, so you're just like, that's all you're doing
You're
right
in
now?
room 1607.
You're just making...
At the Marriott in Hong Kong, trying to nail
surrounded
a
by like
vocal.
4 mattresses and one over the top. Yeah, exactly. On the last 2 tours as well, we bought this like old surveillance van and converted it into a studio so it would follow the tour around. So like at the venue, you'd go into this tiny little surveillance van that had no air conditioning.
What, you and One Direction would go in the
Yeah.
back, we recorded songs in the back of a van on the road.
It's fun to record it like that. It's just a totally different process.
Watermelon Sugar, which at this point is out, and everyone's kind of figured out what it's about. The joys of, mutually appreciated oral pleasure.
Is that what it's about?
Is it?
I don't know.
That's what everyone's saying.
Oh,
Always good to
crazy.
leave it open to
Oh,
interpretation.
yeah, of course, yeah.
But it's something that just seems to kind of have followed you around, that idea of you not just being a sex symbol, but that a lot of your music is inspired by this.
I guess the thing with like sex, it used to feel so much more taboo. Even just like coming into this record, I wanted to feel a little less like guarded with stuff. I wanted to feel a lot freer and just more joyful and like honest and...
You keep going.
Oh, yeah?
Still speeding.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay, great. And I think part of the thing with like the mushrooms thing for me is that when I was in the band, I was like, I'm not gonna be the guy who messes it up. So I was like, I'm not gonna do any of that stuff. Making this record, I just felt so much more joyous, and I was with my friends and we were in Malibu.
Safe.
And it was like, yeah, I felt so safe.
And that's where you're at now, I guess, as you redefined success and you had fun making this album, is that you're just trying to worry less?
I'm just trying to go through life being a little less worried. If you get to make stuff that you're passionate about, then you're happy and no one can call you unsuccessful, which is great.
That's the redefinition of success, my man. Thanks for your time, bro.
Thank you.